Okay, we've got webreports.org. We've got settlements and refunding or dollar collapses. Forensic analysis of developments since the US election, Monday, 5th of January, 2009. This is, you can find this on worldreports.org/news, and then just go to the 5th of January. This is article number 186, settlements and refunding or dollar collapses. Okay, now, one really good headline I liked it here was Rockefellers facing disaster, forcing Bush Crooks to comply. As will be seen when we come to the deliberate imploding by the Bush apparat of the Madoff Ponzi scheme carousal, the two institutions employed by Madoff and his broker dealership are J.P. Morgan Chase and the Bank of New York Mellon, two U.S. exotic financial enterprises which have accumulated colossal inverted overhanging pyramids of derivatives junk liabilities. Indeed, J.P. Morgan Chase, which harbours the terrorism financing centre that we have exposed on this website, is where this immense assembly of fraudulent finance Ponzi scheme scams began. Isn't that interesting? Now we are advised by deep sources that the Rockefellers have got the upper hand against the Bush crime family apparat. But this is back to front in the following respect. The practical reality is that the Rockefeller interests are in extreme danger of being crushed and reduced to pulp should the accumulated weight of the derivatives liabilities that is sitting on the roof crash through successive floors into the basement. And this will happen, as the Rockefellers know very well. The G7 approved refinancing program creating real, on-the-books taxable revenues that cannot be hijacked, diverted or stolen by criminal operatives inside the American structures is sidestepped as the new economic team was incredibly set up to procure. Hence, the Rockefeller interests, believed to be backed here by the Rothschilds as well, have been left with no option but to insist that the G7 approved refinancing program is finally kick-started in the private sector and not via the White House and the Treasury, as the debt-oriented, high-level fraudulent finance engineers had intended. Another headline, why there is no way out for the fraudulent finance cadres. More broadly, the US fraudulent finance sector is now facing the reality of collapse because by spreading the risk so widely, they have in fact generated an environment of open warfare both within the affected financial institutions, between the participants, between financial institutions, between investors and implicated US legal firms. In fact, prospectively, between every benighted participant in the US instigated global panorama of financial fraud. Why did they spread this risk so broadly? Answer, because it was assumed that if anyone tried to stop the carousal, as has occurred, the outcome would be a financial nuclear explosion. On this false premise, they therefore assumed, like professional Ponzi artists and losing gamblers in a casino, that their fraudulent finance carousal could continue, seeing I don't know how you say that, just like something French, NDE, and that their formula for manufacturing false wealth out of nothing could never be challenged or brought down. How wrong these useful idiots were, how stupid and arrogant too. Because what they now face is financial annihilation and obliteration, whichever way the crisis goes. Annihilation when, against the background of the G7 approved private sector capital markets refinancing program, derivatives outstanding at price, say at 1 cent on the dollar, or obliteration if the entire inverted pyramid of derivatives liabilities collapses, destroying the likes of JP Morgan, Chase, and the Bank of New York Mellon in the process. And of course, the Rockefellers and the Bush-Clinton financial crime apparatus with them. In other words, there is no way out for the financial criminal cadres. They are caught and cannot get out with the money they thought they had made. But there is a way out for the rest of us by the G7 approved refinancing program. The debt-oriented this is a new headline. The debt-oriented new economic team imposed on Obama. Meanwhile, the emergence of the new retread economic team for the purpose of continuing debt financing and fraudulent finance as usual explains why the outgoing US Treasury Secretary, that devil Mr. Paulson, was walking around with a self-satisfied smirk on his face. He knew that when he leaves office, it will be illicit, corrupt, business as usual, run out of the White House with him, of course, as a Crooks participant, or so he imagined. The team members specifically assembled to continue the illicit financial trading operations out of the White House, Treasury and State Department under Mr. Obama's nose are as follows. 1. Timothy Geithner, U.S. Treasury Secretary, President and CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, former Director of Policy Development for the International Monetary Fund, member of the Group of 30, G30, formerly employed at Kissinger Associates, mentored by Lawrence Summers and by Robert Rubin, and a Bilderberg Council of Foreign Relations and Trilateral Commission member participant. Trilateral Commission is another long-range German front. If you want more, just get more on this article, just go to youtube.com/thankyouwhite knights.